After Agatha, in 3 acts, by Maya Darren, Mary Wigman, Molly McKenzie, Gemma Sattler, Gertrude Stein, Sylvia Plath, Johanna Hedva, Virginia Woolf, Audrey Lord, Amaara Raheem, and Temperance.
These empty chairs are for everyone that wanted to come tonight but couldn't because they are sick. These empty chairs are for everyone that wanted to come tonight but couldn't because they're caring for someone who is sick. These empty chairs are also for another kind of language. For example, the Native American Cree language. Because in Cree, you do not say, "I am sick." You say, "The sickness has come to me." And so these empty chairs are for our ancestors who sent us the sickness in our shared DNA. It is for any body who is defined by their vulnerability rather than temporarily affected by it. Word of the day. Imponderable. An imponderable is something whose importance cannot be fully measured or accounted for. And it is the word of the day. If you were to use it in a sentence, you might say the room had chairs and a ladder and an imponderable. The chairs were chairs, the ladder was a ladder. The imponderable was not a chair, nor was it a ladder, and that was why it was there. Imponderable, that which cannot be weighed, is the word of the day. Sibilance. Sibilance is the repetition of soft hissing, whispering or shushing sounds made in speech or writing. And it comes from the Latin sibillare, meaning to hiss. If you were to use it in a sentence, you might say, this spell begins not with a shout, but with a surreptitious sibilance, a whisper that slips beneath the skin. Like a snake in the grass. Sibilance, a sound used in speech with a hissing effect, is the word of the day.
Prosthesis. If someone has an artificial device that extends or alters the body, then they have a prosthesis, which is the word of the day. A prosthesis could mean replacing something that has been lost, or a new relationship between absence and presence, or, more interestingly, something that is added to the body that becomes part of the body's story. Using it in a sentence, you might say, she pulled down her prosthetic bra to reveal a naked Nivea scar, and Dracula sucked hungrily at it. Prosthesis, an artificial companion to loss, is the word of the day.
Chthonic. A word to bear in mind when you're talking with the anesthetist, Yes, a word to bear in mind when you can't say the word anesthetist before you go into surgery is chthonic, which is the word of the day. Using it in a sentence, you might say to the anesthetist, as you plunge my body into 8 hours of chthonic torpor, I will be dwelling in the underworld, within the depths of the earth, merging with forces that emerge from below rather than descend from above, and I look forward to seeing you on the other side and offering you some of the chthonic knowledge which will only come to me from this time of long being buried. Chthonic, associated with the depths of the earth rather than the heavens, is the word of the day.
Chrysopeia, attributed to Cleopatra, not the Egyptian queen, but the philosopher, writer, and alchemist active in Alexandria during the 3rd or 4th century. Chrysopeia is the word of the day. Cleopatra is celebrated as one of 4 women said to have mastered the Philosopher's Stone, which is most often described not as a stone, but as a powder, liquid, or crystal. Using it in a sentence, you might say, she mistook cure for chrysopeia, but transformation is not the same thing as restoration. If only she would go out into the garden and look at how the compost chrysopeaed into tomatoes. Chrysopeia, the alchemical art of transforming lead into gold, is the word of the day.
Heliotrope. As well as being a flower, a heliotrope is one who has devotion, longing, and faithfulness, and an orientation towards the sun. Because she understands that the sun possesses something that has not yet been administratively taken out by the necessities of the body in the medical system. If using it in a sentence, you might say, the sick woman turns the sun. For survival, yes. And also for the reminder that survival exists and once was hers and can be again. Heliotrope. To turn towards the colour and direction of the sun is the word of the day.
Theatre. Theatre comes from the Greek thea, a sight, a spectacle, something contemplated, and is the word of the day. In the 18th and 19th centuries, surgery was often performed
in tiered amphitheatres, where medical students, physicians, and even members of the public gathered to watch. Operations could be crowded events with dozens or even hundreds of observers looking down, and surgeons were judged by their speed and dexterity. Using it in a sentence, you might say, "Darling, I must go now and put on my best gown, for they need me back at the theatre." Theatre, to observe something especially of a remarkable nature, is the word of the day.
Act 3. Fishbowl.